Hello and welcome to Season 3 of Melbourne 22. I'm Aaron McCarthy and this is Anna Burgess.
Tonight we look into what's jeopardising our live music culture.
We get the shortest history lesson ever.
And dig deeper into responsible pet ownership.
All that and more coming right up on Melbourne 22.
Well, it's great to be back. I'm super excited. Aaron, are you excited to be back here with me? Awkward.
Yeah. No, I am. I'm really excited to be back. And we've got a new crew. All these people that you guys can't see right now standing behind everything and the cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All new. Don't know any names.
What did you get up to on the break?
Oh, geez, all sorts, man. Oh, if I could just reel off everything I got up on it. Not much, really.
Not much?
No.
Nah. But you got a girlfriend?
Jeez,
got a
let's just
girlfriend?
bring out the big guns
Got straight in
up.
there? Yeah.
This airs in like a couple of weeks. Who knows what's going to happen in that time? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I have. And it's all going very well. And you're still single, so which is...
Okay.
Well, anyway, this season, you, the viewer, will be seeing lots of changes here on Melbourne 22. Anna may get a boyfriend, single and looking. To find out what these changes are, simply keep watching.
Now, to kick off tonight's episode, I'm going to join, what's that dating online service? Just kidding.
Bit of RSVP.
We dive straight into the Melbourne live music scene. Now, everyone knows Melbourne's the music capital of Australia, but is its late night laneway culture in jeopardy?
To find out more, we visited a few iconic rock and roll venues. Let's take a look.
Melbourne is the heart of live music in Australia.
I think we're very lucky because we're in AC/DC lane, and I think it's really important that rather than tourists just taking a photograph of a street sign, they can visit a business which is really bringing the concept of AC/DC to life. You know, young bands playing on a stage, trying to make it to the top. So that's really helpful.
It has got history. It's got ghosts. It's been a nightclub, now band venue. It's been a theatre, it's been a cinema, it's been a recital centre for a religious group. It's been used for over 100 odd years by Melbourne public.
Well, the music industry contributes about $1 billion to the Victorian economy.
We have millions of people walk past the front of the building every single day and would not know what's behind those walls.
The biggest issue and the biggest threat to music in Australia is urban development around existing live music venues, and time again we're seeing existing venues being shut down because new neighbours are complaining and the law doesn't support the venue, which is really unfair. The people who need the most support are the artists themselves, and these days people aren't really buying physical CDs as much anymore, so it's harder for the bands to make money, but you know, they sell their merch and they play, so come and see live bands.
The other most important thing, people, whether it's Facebook or merely going to a demonstration, is to support Slam. Slam is very important in recent times to the ongoing success of the Melbourne industry.
Music is absolutely vital. It's, you know, in a city like Melbourne, it's not wallpaper. It's actually it's the skeleton. It's the most important thing. And if you go to the great world-class cities in the world, like Madrid in Spain, music just comes out of the walls of places, out of venues. Music just fills the street, and that's where you feel the energy of a world-class city. Creating, even if you've got amazing music, I don't think it should be hidden behind a soundproof door.
Support live music, go and see it. Simple.
has a lot of passionate characters with its music culture. Now, here today to discuss further, we're joined by Tanya Gleeson from The Push. Tanya, hey.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming along.
No worries.
So, can you explain what The Push is and what your role involves?
So The Push is a non-profit music organisation, mainly for the youth. They inspire and encourage young people to create. Yeah. So I have been a part of The Push for 3 years. So I started off working at Pushover, which is the festival, which is 21 this year, which is pretty cool. I've worked the past 3 pushovers, and then last year I joined the Youth Advisory Committee, which is 12 people, which is, pretty cool to be a part of. Like, it's a good opportunity. We're all like 18 to 25, and we meet with the artist director once a month.
With the live music scene, what do you think is the biggest threat these days?
Definitely the closing of the venues. As I said before, like, it's people joining around and having an issue.
What do you think is causing the closing of the venues, though? Do you think it's all this new technology that we've got these days that's coming in, that's taken over?
Yeah, I reckon that's a definite impact. But I know a lot of people who still do go out and see live music, but then I know a lot of people who don't, because it just it's become so easy, like, to just see it from home and all that kind of thing. But yeah, I definitely encourage people to definitely go out to see shows.
Tanya, I've got an idea, right? See, I figure that if we, because everyone goes to the football, like, guaranteed, once a week. If we make it mandatory that if you do not go and see live music, theatre or something artistic once a week, you don't get to go to the football, do you think that could work?
I agree. Like, yeah,
do your chores or you won't get your
definite idea.
Sort of
yeah, right.
Like, the good thing, the thing about football is everyone's, there's 2 different teams, but at music, everyone's on the one team.
Yeah.
So, it's just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Tanya, what do you think as a community we can do to support music?
Go to shows, definitely. Like, encourage bands, go buy their merch, buy their CD, check them out, give them some time, support everyone, and hopefully.
One of the biggest topics that was raised in the package just before was Slam. Can you tell us a little bit about Slam? What's that?
Yeah, so Slam is Save Live Australia Music, and so I was actually a part of the census, Victorian census. So we did, we pretty much tallied all the shows that happened last year, and then we, how many people were attending and all that kind of thing, and it was a whopping amount. Like, it was huge. Like, people totally underestimate it, and something like Slam really supports it. So everyone should support Slam if you're down for live music or just music in general. Like, it's just so important.
Right. What would be your advice for young up-and-coming musicians?
I reckon just get out there, play as many shows as possible. Like, with my volunteering experience, it's all been like through the Push and Freezer and stuff. So, like, play Freezer shows, like, network, talk to people, and you can't go wrong, really.
Beauty. Done.
Thank you so much for coming in, Tanya.
Thanks for having me.
Anna, have you ever heard of the Farrier?
No, what is that?
Well, we're about to find out.
I'm David, and I've done this for about 7 years. There were a couple of new bikes because the geometry was important, and then lots of bikes that just came off the side of the road. And other things have just come from the side of the road, literally. I lost myself in the process. I didn't really count the hours. The music's a very big part of it. It just engages people. People just stop, they clap. I've worked out what music people like. They like retro, 80s or 70s disco type music. You put on the Bee Gees and you're there. I was riding to work one day on the Farrier, and this lady calls out, she goes, "You're on fire." And I said, "Oh, well, thanks." And then she said, no, you are on fire. Mostly it's for fun. It's just to meet people, make them smile, and there's no other agenda. People always say, what? No, come on, what are you really doing it for? And there's no agenda, it's just to have fun.
Coming up after the break, we speak with Julie from the Melbourne Pet Ambulance.
welcome back to Melbourne 22. Wasn't that Farrier guy lovely with his little Christmas lights, spreading the joy?
I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, just sharing the love, you know. I like the name Farrier too. I love a good play on words. I thought Sickshaw would have been cool as well, but you know, whatever. He's got it figured out. Bee Gees.
All right, so moving along, every week we'll hit the streets and ask the public a series of questions.
This week's question, what animal would you be and why?
A dog.
A cat.
I'd probably be maybe a turtle.
A bird, maybe.
Because they live so long, so they probably see so many different things.
Just fly around, be free.
Probably a gorilla.
A tiger.
I don't really know why. I've just always seemed to have a fascination with them.
Powerful.
Large cat.
Capybara.
Bit of grace and power and
Never seen one. And it would be a moment of reflection.
I think I'd like to be a horse.
Oh man, I reckon I'd be a sloth.
I think I'd like to be a giraffe.
They get to move in slow-mo, but they get the most of everything that they do as well.
Aaron, need I ask, what animal would you be?
I think people always would associate themselves with an animal. Like I have always thought sparrow, because he's quick and he's fast. And he's like that, you know.
You're a sparrow.
I would be a sparrow if I was an animal.
With really big pecs though, like a big breastbone. Yeah. Yeah, more like a red robin, like one of those ones. Is it?
How's it go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon I'd be a giraffe. Mm-hmm. Lots of spots. I've got spots all over me and long legs,
right?
and I've got a tongue that just, you know. But anyway, moving along.
Okay.
So speaking of animals, everyone's got a little furry friend they love.
It's not getting any better, Anna.
Whether it be their childhood pet or a stray that decided to stay. But are you really being a responsible owner?
We caught up with Julie Flint, who runs the Melbourne Pet Ambulance Service. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Julie from Melbourne Pet Ambulance. So from the age of 12, I've always had a passion for animals, starting at the Keysborough Animal Shelter, going as a volunteer, from there which led into vet nursing. I've been working as a veterinary nurse for 15 years. And that's led me to go into the emergency side of vet nursing, which has then let me be able to run the ambulance. Through the ambulance service, the members of the public call me with lost or found or injured animals. If there are clients' injured animals, they'll go to a clinic. If they're clearly being dumped or orphaned, then they'll come back here where they will have rehab. From there, there's also the pounds, there's pounds like Mildura, Swan Hill, Mornington that release their animals to a lot of rescue groups. So I've actually created my own rescue group here at home. Basically from there, the animals come into the program. Usually they're underage. They'll be desexed, microchipped, vaccinated and popped on pet rescue. And then they're able to find their forever homes from there. Brody had been passed around from home to home, foster carer to foster carer, unable to find the right home. Due to his size and boisterous nature, people were worried about his aggressive nature. And so he's actually one of the reasons I started rescue. As you can see, he's fitted in quite well. So in the ambulance itself, I have catch poles, I have nets, there's muzzles, restraining equipment, I do have body bags, IV fluids, catheters, in ambulance ready for any sort of emergency. Stretchers, a lot of the animals are too big to carry, so they will go onto a stretcher and two of us will be required to lift them into the ambulance service. This is Little Pete. Little Pete 8 months ago was actually put into a plastic bag when he was born in Box Hill. A cleaner at Box Hill TAFE actually heard a noise in the dump master and they jumped in the bin to pull him out. Not sure what to do. They actually called my ambulance service and I've actually raised him from newborn up until now where he's 8 months old. My passion drives basically knowing that I can actually do something to help the many animals out there. There are over 250,000 dogs and cats euthanized every year in pounds and shelters. So basically what drives me every day is knowing that I myself have saved 60 dogs in the last 5 months here at home from euthanasia.
Oh, Anna, such beautiful little animals who let the dogs out. We've got a really cool segment coming up right now, don't we?
We do. Here with us in the studio, we're joined with Nicole Hoskin from Paran Veterinary Clinic and Trish Burke from Pets Haven. Welcome, guys. And who have we got here?
We have Bo, who's a German Shorthair Pointer, Midnight, and Little Miss H.
All right, guys, so what is the process for dealing with animals that are in need?
Well, from my point of view, as in from being an animal shelter, we rescue animals from death row pounds where they would be euthanized after 8 days. We have veterinary clinics that ring us and say that, that they have an animal in there that may require a new home. From puppy farms, I think we all know how horrendous puppy farms are, and from members of the community. Sometimes things happen in life and people become ill, marriage breakups, or they can't take their pet to a rental property. So there's a lot of animals out there that really need a second chance.
What advice would you give people that find beautiful animals like this that are dumped, or they just find, what would you advise people to do?
I'd probably advise them to bring them into the vet clinic where we can assess their health to start off with, and once we've assessed that they're healthy, then we can contact people like Trish to come and collect them and try and rehome them and find new homes for them. Yep. There's a lot of dogs out there and a lot of animals in general that need a good, loving home. We just need to put them in touch with the right people.
Yeah. But if you do find an animal, walking the streets, you do have to, visit a local vet clinic to see if the animal has a microchip, or contact a local pound, because that animal could really be lost and wanting to go back home.
Yeah.
I reckon we should call this guy Limelight, not Midnight.
You actually look really handsome over there.
Oh, no, look, it's all right.
He loves you.
He's such a good boy.
You want to say something in the microphone? It's just down here.
Bo's getting totes jealous over there.
Oh, yeah, you love that. Oh, yeah. What's the process for adoption post-rescue?
Okay, for us to come into the shelter, the animals are all temperament tested and their health is assessed before being placed up for an adoption. Yeah. And when you come in and you want to adopt an animal, if you actually have, we call it a resident dog, a dog at home, we ask you to bring that dog in so that they can meet the possible adoptee dog to see if they all get along, and we actually have a park and go for a walk. And the process is, it's more so about matching up the right animal with the right people.
Yep.
Some people come in and they have in mind a particular dog or cat that they want or saw online or somewhere, but they walk out the door adopting somebody else.
Okay.
Now, Nicole, you've brought in some equipment, haven't you, today, to help us, teach us about how to look after our pets.
So Trish mentioned before about microchips, and I bought in a microchip.
This is great. Can we microchip me?
No.
Would it be difficult? Like, I'm sure we could just find a little spot behind my ear there.
Probably could.
I'm constantly
I'm
getting
sure you'll
lost.
yell.
Your girlfriend might want to microchip you after that earlier comment.
No, it's this is a microchip, so it comes in a sealed container, so it's totally sterile.
Okay.
And what we do is we implant them under the skin, just between the shoulder blades in dogs and cats. And then we have a scanner that will come along. I assume these guys have got microchips, And we just go across and we hear a little beep, and that'll tell us the number of the animal or the microchip that's in that animal. What we then do is we contact a central animal database, and we can do that online. And within about 5 minutes of an animal walking in our veterinary clinic, we can have owner's details, second contact details, which is really important if they've been injured or if they're lost, for instance. Some people are unaware that their dogs are out wandering the streets, and if we can get a hold of someone really quickly, then it means that we can keep them safe until someone can come collect them, and whether that be a shelter or whether it be their owners. And that's really important.
It's amazing work that you guys do.
So it's a fun job.
Yeah, it's emotional but rewarding.
I can imagine. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Well, coming up after the break, we get a brief history lesson on a certain Melbourne landmark.
And we hear the Habits perform their latest hit, I'm Lost.
You're doing good, don't worry about it. Welcome back to Melbourne 22, and we're about to take you back, way back, to your old high school days. High school. What kind of student were you, Anna?
Well, it's funny you asked that, Aaron. I was actually told off a few times for being a bit of a class clown.
No.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah, but I was actually deathly, I was so shy though, up until that year 10, and then something went terribly wrong. I couldn't do public speaking. I hated it.
That's how it happens, isn't it? Oral presentation, not me. Sweats. The whole works. Did you study history?
Well, I assume I did. Yes, I did. Mrs. Fullenfor was my history teacher.
Big shout out, Mrs. Fullenfor.
Very dry.
Look, I know most history classes these days are all about the French or Russian revolutions, but how much do you actually know about Melbourne?
We went to the Queen Victoria Market to find out.
Officially opening under the name Queen Victoria Market in 1878, this lively, eccentric marketplace used to be Melbourne's first cemetery. The market was one of the first to have purpose-built structures, in particular the meat hall, which is the oldest building on the site and one of the few original buildings still standing. In the 1950s, food vans became more and more popular. The American Donut Kitchen is still run by the family who originally owned it. The market has a history of being a popular spot for all retail, produce and wholesale needs. There's everything from meat and fresh fruit to all the Australian merchandise you'll ever need. Being the oldest standing market to date, it's seen a few renovations in its time, the newest being the food court, offering a wide variety of cuisines showcasing the very best of Melbourne's multiculturalism. That's all, folks. Stay tuned for some more history of Melbourne.
Hot jam donuts.
There you go. Who needs school? Melbourne 22, bit of a history lesson for you.
Hot jam. History, yes, was wonderful, but the hot jam donuts at the Queen Victoria Markets, bag of 6.
This is why she was no good at school.
Amazing, but be careful. Just blow on it before, because hot jam can be dangerous.
Oh yes, yeah. Definitely want to check your temps on that one. Well, let's come to that time of the night. Not that time of the night. No, she wants to go. No, she doesn't. Where you have to make that hard decision of what to watch next.
It's a hard life, Aaron. It's a hard life. Now, thank you for tuning in to our very first episode of Season 3. The crowd goes wild.
Hallelujah.
Now, here's a little preview of what's to come in the next couple of weeks.
Love a bit of magic.
Love it.
Eh?
Yeah.
Exciting times ahead. Now, we suspect that you like us. Eh?
Well, you know.
We suspect that you like us.
Yeah.
If not, we'll try a little harder. But you might be social media addicts, so, well, most people are these days. We've got an Instagram page up and running these days.
I'm on Instagram as well,
Pushing
actually.
ahead with the technology.
Anna K. Burgess, follow me. I've only got 2 photos up, but you know, hoping for more.
I'm not yet on Instagram, but I'll work on that.
Yeah.
Twitter. Twitter me at Aaron Mack. Details on the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah.
And if they're not, come on, guys, get your act together.
Beautiful. Or if you don't want to follow us personally, which is totally understandable, we've also got Facebook and Twitter, obviously, for Melbourne 22 to keep up to date with everything that we're up to.
Don't forget to tune in next week. We'll be catching up with 3-time, yep, that's right, Australian hockey champions, the Melbourne Ice, and taking a closer look at Melbourne's love of cinema.
To take us out tonight, we have The Habits performing their latest hit, I'm Lost.
You're doing really well, I think.
I'm lost.
Yeah. Thanks, Melbourne. Same time next week.
Good night.